Hey guys, today we're going to talk about being a competitive person. We're not going to talk about people that, go to competitions and who, who compete, let's say for a living or whatever, like, people like athletes and stuff like that, or people who, who participate in awards or in races or in championships, whatever, for a living, because those people are completely different from, the rest of us who don't do it for a living or don't do it for fun, well, quote unquote, for fun. At least I don't consider myself competitive. Obviously, everybody wants to excel at things and everybody wants to do things well. But honestly, if you think that you wanting to be better than other people, wanting to do things better than other people, wanting to, to excel, to, yeah, just to do better in school, to do better at this thing, to do better at that thing, to do better in life, to have more things, to whatever. Like, if you think that's being competitive, you're just wrong. Because being competitive is about being good no matter what other people do, because you want to remain, yeah, you want to remain competitive. Like, you want to remain good. You want to be good competition, because if people beat you, you either go out of business or you don't classify for whatever championship, whatever. But like, if it's not about that, if something is not about that, like for instance, like grades or getting an opportunity for a job or whatever, like there's so many people who apply, one person gets the job, but not necessarily are they the best at something. Or if you get chosen for, I don't know, whatever it is, a lot of people get chosen because they have friends, and I'm not talking about plugs here, but you know what I mean? Like, there's so many people who get chosen because, they know each other, and it's like, maybe you're not better than other people, but I trust you. That's why I chose you for, let's say, this job position or whatever. I don't know too much about, the labor market, but the thing is, if you're somebody, especially, in school or just in life, who wants to be better than other people, who wants to have more things, like I have this house or whatever. No, let's say you have a really big apartment and you have a friend who just bought a house and you're like, oh shit, this person just bought a house. Like, you're not being competitive, you're just being envious. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up like surrounded by people who had that. You know what I mean? Like, I had a friend who bought a house at some point. Well, he didn't buy a house, his parents bought a house. And um and at first, everybody, we all thought he was just happy about having a house, whatever. And then when other people started buying houses, or when other people started buying apartments or living, moving out and whatever, like, he started like going like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like, he started feeling like we were some sort of competition for him, because we also had other, let's say, places to live, or because we were, getting new homes or living in new homes, whatever. And this person, yeah, he just started to feel that competition, but it's really not competition, because there is no competition. You know what I mean? It's not about who has more houses, who sold this house and now they're buying a house by the beach, or they're buying a bigger house, or they're buying a, I don't know, going from an apartment to a house or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not that. If it's not about that, if it's not a competition, like an official competition or whatever, you're just envious. You're just envious. Like, for instance, like getting good grades or whatever, I am so sick of it. I could make a whole video about this. Like, I grew up a good student. You know what I mean? Like, I was, for the most part, a good student. There have been there have been times where I was the best, quote unquote, best student in the class, because I was the one who would get the higher grades. And there have been times where there was one person, two people, three people, or whatever, who would get better grades than me. And for instance, in college, it depended on the subject. Like, there was a subject where I was the highest grade. There was other subjects where I had one friend, two friends, three friends who got a higher grade. You know what I mean? It's fine. And I've never felt competition with grades, because I do not care. You know what I mean? Like, as long as I'm happy with my grade, and this applies to life, like, as long as I'm happy with my life, I don't care how other people are doing. You know what I mean? Like, if I just bought, like, I don't know, if my parents were like, okay, we're gonna move from this apartment to this other apartment. I don't care if my friends have houses or not. I don't care if my friends moved from an apartment to a house, or from a house to an apartment. Like, I don't care how other people are doing. I don't care if you have one house, two houses, three houses. I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care if, like, if I have a house and you have a house with a pool, of course I'm gonna be like, because I love pools. Of course I can be like, oh my god, they have a pool and I don't. Like, I really want a pool, but I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, they have a pool and I don't. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna have that. I'm just gonna be like, well, I would like to have a pool. They're so lucky, whatever. Like, I wish I had a pool, but I'm not gonna feel like this competition, this like pressure, like, oh my god, they have a pool and I don't. Like, what do I do? You know what I mean? Like, I feel less than because I don't have a pool. I do not. Of course, envy is a natural feeling. I don't want you to to misunderstand me. Like, of course it's a natural feeling, and of course you can sometimes want things that other people have. Like, for instance, like, I recently straightened my hair. Like, I permanently straightened it, and it used to be like really puffy. Well, right now it's not. Right now it's pretty straight and just, it behaves. But the thing is, it used to be really puffy, and I used to envy all these girls whose hair was naturally straight, whose hair was not puffy at all, whose hair didn't like frizz up with like humidity and stuff like that. And I would not envy them, but I would look at them and go like, oh, if my hair was like that, like life would be so different. You know what I mean? Like, I had that up until not a long time ago, and I'm realizing that maybe these girls didn't have like naturally straight hair. But the thing is, whether they did a chemical like thing to their hair or whatever, like, it doesn't matter. You still sometimes want things that other people have. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wish I don't know, my teeth were, I don't know, let's say whiter. I don't know. They're not, my teeth are not yellow, but they're not like white. I don't have a complex when it comes to my teeth, but I know people who, like, for instance, I had a classmate who had white teeth and he still whitened his teeth. It's like, you know what I mean? That has nothing to do with like being competitive or not. I don't know if he was comparing himself to somebody else, but like his teeth were pretty white and he still did that. And it's like, what the fuck? Well, maybe that's perfectionism, maybe that's whatever. But what I'm saying is that envy is a natural feeling, and sometimes we want to look a certain way. We compare ourselves to other people. We can compare ourselves to people who are skinnier, or people who have, I don't know, certain facial features that we don't have, or certain, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. I couldn't give you an example right now, but the thing is, like, it's normal to compare ourselves to people. You know what I mean? It's normal to compare ourselves with other people and the stuff that they are doing, the stuff that they have done, the stuff that they are going through, the stuff that they have. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody has a lot of money, you're like, okay, I don't have that much money. Or like this person, like, like, for instance, so I'm in college, right? And there's a lot of people my age and a lot of people who are younger than me who have work experience. And a lot of the times I feel bad because I don't have work experience. But then I look at myself and I'm like, well, this is no competition. This is not about who has work experience and not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have work experience, but I'm about to have it in a few months, because I have to do an internship as part of my master's degree. And even then, even if I didn't have that, I would still be looking for a job after the master's degree. So like, it's not about who has done this, who has done that. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has a different path. You know what I mean? There's people who are forced to start working earlier in life. Like, for instance, my mom, she was pretty much forced to start working when she was really young because she, her family needed her and her siblings to work. So, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be in that situation. Do you know what I mean? So you know what I mean? Maybe this person is starting to work, but like, why did they start working? You know what I mean? Like, is it out of necessity, or is it because they got a job, or is it because they got recommended, or because they whatever? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what people are going through. And there was something else I wanted to say. Yeah, like, it's, or like, for instance, people who are, I don't know, like, for instance, there's a lot of people, especially as you get older, there starts to be people in many fields who start being successful in this, they start being successful in that, or who get famous for this reason, that reason, and you realize that these people are, oh my god, this person's only 1 year older than me. Like, does that mean I have to be that successful in that field 1 year from now? You know what I mean? Like, you feel that pressure. Or if somebody's your age and they are already really successful in this thing, you're like, oh my god, it probably took them years to be successful in that, and I haven't even started yet. You know what I mean? Or there are people sometimes who are even younger than you, and you're like, they're so successful and they're already famous for this and that, and you're like, bro, like, maybe I'm just late. You know what I mean? So it's okay to compare ourselves to people, to want what people want, but the thing is, like, we should be admired, and we should be admired. We should admire, and we should feel inspired by these people and take it as inspiration and be like, okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna be better, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and not go like, oh, this person, they have this and they have that and I want what they have, and then just victimize yourself like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be the best at everything. You can't have the opportunities that everybody else has. Everybody has different opportunities. But the thing is, you're not competitive if you want what other people have. You are not competitive if this person bought a house and you didn't. You're just envious. You're not competitive if this person has shinier hair than you. You're not competitive. You're just jealous. You know what I mean? Like, my mom and one of her cousins, like, she used to measure me and her daughter, like, every time we would see each other in like family dinners, whatever, to see who was taller, like whether me or her daughter. And it's like, that's not competitive. Like, you're not being competitive. You're just being envious. You know what I mean? Like, let's see who's taller. You know what I mean? And it doesn't even matter. Like, who cares? Like, I understand that like men can have more of a complex with height. I understand. Like, I don't like it's bad. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I understand. But like for women, who fucking cares who's taller? You know what I mean? Like, for instance, me, height is not an insecurity. There's a lot of things that I could feel insecure about. Like, for instance, like boobies. Like, I don't have boobs, but I'm not insecure about it. Well, we can talk about insecurities another day. But the thing is, like if a friend of mine is like, I don't know, I have bigger boobs than you or whatever, and she thinks it's a competition, like maybe you feel good about yourself because I have no boobs, or maybe me not having boobs makes you feel better about yourself. But when did I say I wanted to have boobs? You know what I mean? Like, if I wanted boobs, like, it's really easy. I can just get a boob job and that's it. Like, it can go wrong, definitely. But what I'm saying is that there's a solution to that. But I still don't have an insecurity. Like, if I wanted to get boobs, I would put on some boobs and that's it. But the thing is, if you want what other people have, if you want the success that other people have, if you want somebody else's, let's say, facial features, or somebody else's, I don't know, I admire some people's metabolism because they eat a lot and they still don't get fat. You know what I mean? They don't gain weight. That sounds bad. I don't know, because like I don't know. Some people don't like the word fat, and other people are like, you can just say it, whatever. But the thing is, you know what I mean? Like, you don't gain weight. That's what I mean by, and you can eat a lot. And I envy that. I envy that. I'm not like that, so I have to, restrain myself. I'm on a bit of a diet. You know what I mean? Like, I would be maybe a little bit less skinny if I just ate whatever I wanted. Maybe I don't know. But the thing is, like, you're not being competitive. You're just being envious. You know what I mean? Like, if you hate somebody for, I don't know, if you hate that you lost at whatever game or whatever, like, or maybe you're envious. Like, being competitive is about being good. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're competing with other people and you are taking into consideration what other people are doing to do well, let's say, in the competition. But if you're just envying somebody, you know what I mean? Like, for instance, in I don't know, in the Olympics, if you're second place and you're so angry because you got second place, you're not being competitive. You're competitive if you want to be good, if you want to, you know what I mean, if you want to practice, if you're doing it to be better, whatever. But if you're mad because you lost, you're just envious. You are envious. You're not being competitive. Everybody's competing. You could say that every athlete is competitive. Of course they are competitive. But if you are not good at losing, you're just envious. You are just envious. Like, people who get really good grades and whatever, who are like, oh yeah, I was talking about grades and I think I didn't finish that. Like, I would get a lot of friends who were like, oh, I didn't study at all and I got this grade or whatever. And they're always bragging about it, and it's like, who fucking cares what grade you got? I don't care how much you studied. Of course, I don't believe that you studied for like half an hour or 20 minutes or whatever. Of course. But the moment I get a higher grade than you, whether I studied a lot or not, you're like, you know what I mean? And it's like, you're envious. You're not competitive. If you really were that competitive, you would be studying really hard. You know what I mean? Like, you would admit that you're working really hard because you're being competitive. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing what you have to do to be good at something, you know? I haven't looked up the definition of competitive, but you know what I mean? Like, you are doing what you have to do to be good at something, to excel at something. But if you're saying, no, I didn't study at all, whatever, and then you hate me because I got, I don't know, 2 points more than you, or a point more than you, or half a point more than you, you're just being envious. You're just envious. Like, who fucking cares? The only person who really cares about your grades, the only person who really cares about your success, whatever, the stuff that you have, is you. Nobody goes to bed thinking, oh, this person doesn't have this person doesn't have that, this person looks like this and like that, whatever. This person doesn't really get good grades. I don't think anybody goes to bed thinking, oh, Anna got this grade on this test. I don't go to bed thinking what anyone else got. You know what I mean? Like, I had friends, when I presented my master's thesis, my bachelor's thesis, I'm already in the future. But the thing is, like, when I presented my bachelor's thesis, like, people were saying their grade, like, oh my god, yeah. Like, I had a friend who did her thesis, like, one day before me, because she was scheduled for some reason one day before me. She, like, it was the same call, but I don't know, for some reason. And she said, I got this grade. I don't know. I think she got 97%. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I was like, I know that I'm not going to get as high of a grade because I had already been told by my tutor that I had a 9, like 90% out of 10 out of 100. And I was like, I don't know, if there's like an average or something, I don't think I'm going to get that high of a grade. But I was like, I mean, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, 9 out of 10 is still a really good grade. And I'm like, this girly, I'm not envious. I don't care what grade she got, but she didn't have to say that she got 97%. Like, literally no one fucking cares. Literally no one fucking cares. Like, if somebody cared, they would ask, but no. And then the next day, she was like, hey, how did you do? And I was like, yeah, I mean, everything went great. I met a few girls and stuff, and they were really nice, whatever. Like, teachers were nice about it. They asked, like, relatively, easy questions. Like, they didn't ask anything hard. And she was like, no, but what grade did you get? Ha ha ha. Because it was through text. And I was like, I got 90%. I got 90%. And what pissed me off is not the fact that I got a lower grade or that she got a higher grade. What pissed me off is the fact that she only cared about that. She was like, oh yeah, it's also good, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, whenever I would get a good grade, but it wasn't as high as her, she was like, yeah, well, whatever. Maybe next time you'll get a higher grade or whatever. And it's like, I really don't care about it. You are the one who cares about it. You know what I mean? Because you know that if you were the one that got a lower grade, you would feel bad. So you're projecting how you think I'm feeling. You know what I mean? You're projecting how you would feel. You know what I mean? I didn't care. I was like, it is a good grade. It's not going anywhere. Nobody cares. It's school. At the end of the day, it's fucking school. It does not reflect how successful you're going to be in the future. Now, did I end up being the person out of my degree with the highest record? Yeah, or with the best record? I don't know, like academic record? Yeah. Am I nominated for a prize? I don't know if it's this month, next month. Yeah. Was I given the opportunity to give a speech at the graduation ceremony because of that? Yeah. And I do feel happy about that. And I'm glad that I was given that opportunity. And I'm really happy that that was the case. Like, maybe, okay, I was the highest record. Like, I'm happy about that. But it was never my intention. Like, I never did it for that. You know what I mean? Like, if I studied, if I worked really hard, it was not because I wanted to do those things. I found out that you are eligible to give a speech and to be given an award and stuff like that, but I didn't do it because of that. Maybe I was being competitive because I was trying to be good, but I was not trying to compete with anybody else. I was just trying to do well. You know what I mean? I wanted to pass all my subjects. I didn't want the degree to take longer than 4 years. Like, I was being competitive. I was being competent. And there was other people who were being envious. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you got 90%. Well, I mean, it's fine anyway. When did I say 90% was not a good thing? Just because you got a higher grade doesn't mean that I got a bad grade. Just because you would feel bad about getting a lower grade doesn't mean that I feel bad about getting a lower grade. Like, even my parents were like, yeah, don't worry. You know what I mean? Like, you have other skills. And I'm like, when did I say I give a fuck about that shit? You know what I mean? Like, people are envious on the norm. You know what I mean? Like, you're not being competitive if you want a higher grade than me, or if you want, if you feel bad that other people are doing better at this and that or whatever. You're just being envious. Let's call it as it is. Since when has it been a competition to get a higher or lower grade in your fucking bachelor's thesis? You know what I mean? Since when is it about that? Like, there's people who got 100%. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't anybody in our group of friends, but you know what I mean? Like, there's people who got 100%. And it's like, like, this girl was probably mad about that. You know what I mean? Like, maybe she met a few people who got 100%. Since when do I care? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I don't know. I think this was a bit of a ramble. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.